Hi everybody, it's Tanya from wallpaper here. I wanted to do a little video, or rather probably a little series of videos on a project that I've been wanting to work on for quite a long time now, and that is turning an old book into a junk journal. And I'm fairly new to junk journaling. There's lots of people out there who make the most gorgeous junk journals from old books, and I really wanted to have a go. And I've been really inspired by the recent tutorials on um, extending book spines of old books to accommodate junk journaling um, by Heather of RubyandPearl.xo on Instagram. I'm sure most of you watching this will know who she is. And if you're like me, you're a great admirer of her work. Um, I also want to kind of develop my style a little bit. I'm normally very much about measuring and precision because that's what I do in my day job. So measurements have to be precise. I like nice cut lines and things like that. And one of the things that I love about Ruby and Pearl's style, Heather's style, is the torn edges, the loose sort of scrapbooky style. So I want to create a journal for myself that sort of pushes my comfort zone a bit. And I want to sort of, see if I can develop a bit of a looser style rather than everything having to be rigidly measured and precise. I always think it's good whenever you're creating any form of art. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's sewing, junk journaling, making jewellery. I always think it's really good to challenge yourself to step out of your comfort zone. Because even if you think, oh well, this is really not for me, you will at least take some little nugget away with you that can have an influence on your future work. So I'm gonna I'm gonna push myself to do the torn pages thing because I just think it looks so fabulous. But up until now, I could never imagine myself doing that. So here we are. We've got our book. This is a book from 1939. It's got a lot of age to it, a lot of character to it. The pages are just amazing. They're like this very thick paper. You can see how spotted with age they are, all the lovely foxing details around the edges. And it's actually got a couple of really nice book plates in. These really nice sort of book plates. And, I love the cover. What drew me to this book was the title, Into Stormy Waters, because oh boy, have we been through some stormy waters this last year. What with COVID and everything, it's just all been a bit of a nightmare. And I don't know, I kind of feel like junk journaling saved me a bit. It's like preserved my sanity throughout these stormy times. So anyway, so this is the book. It's got a nice spine. I do want to keep certain elements from the book. So I want to keep this. I like that. And I like obviously the book plates. And there's nice pages through here that have just got, let me find one. Like nice little graphics there at the start. So yeah, this is what we're going to turn into a junk journal. Now you might, if you've seen my latest stories, you'll have seen I got a whole pile of fabrics and trims, vintage linens from Buttonwood Crafts Studio. You can find her on Instagram, but I'll do all the links in the comments. And I've also picked out some other fabrics that I want to use to decorate the cover and to decorate the pages. I've got this amazing piece of antique lace that I picked up from a vintage fair a long time ago. And I really like this fabric. I love that rose, and I think it works well with the colour tones of the book. So I want to use that. And then I've got this amazing piece of vintage sari trim. It's the only bit I've got left of this fabric. But I kind of want to create a pocket on the front of the book when it's finished, and that I can slot journaling cards and things into. So I'm hoping that's going to work out for the front. Other bits of trims that I want to use. I want the book to have lots of fabric in. I really do like lots of fabric in the book. So I'm going to use lots of trims and things. Lots of these vintage linens that I got from Buttonwood Crafts. So what I want to do in this first video, I know I've rambled on long enough already. So what I want to do in this first video, let's just move that out of the way, is just take apart the book. Now, I picked a book that I wouldn't be unhappy about taking apart. So I think for a first project, you know, it's in reasonable shape and I'm not attached to it at all. So I'm just going to go ahead and gut the book. So here we are, craft knife, and you can see how this book is. It's all sewn in pages, so it should be fairly easy to take apart. And it's just got this binding paper down the edge where they've attached the signatures. So I'm just going to go in with my craft knife and cut this away. I'll be fairly careful because obviously I don't want to cut through the book itself, and I don't necessarily want to damage the signatures either. There we are. That's it, that's going. There we go. Oh, look at that. You can just see the imprint of the pattern on the spine. So let's do that at the other side as well. We probably won't get too much done in this first video, so I don't want it to drag on for you. But hopefully this just kind of like introduces the project. And then my plan is to do subsequent videos as the journal progresses. And this side's not quite as willing to come apart. But we will prevail. There we are. Aha, that's it. So there we go. I was worried about that part. I was worried I might totally mess it up just on the first task. But there we go. That's looking okay. Let's just get rid of this dust and everything. And then I'm just going to trim those edges off. Trim them back as far as I can. That's looking better. We'll do the same on the other side. Yep, that's looking a whole lot better. Could do with just a... I think it really is just a case of, you know, making sure it's not a book you're attached to and just going for it and just taking it apart. So that's looking pretty reasonable. We will of course be covering the inside. And that'll be a handy guide for working out the width of the signature binding. I think I'm probably going to go for 3 signatures for this book. Let's just have a bit of a clear out. So there we have it. So what I want to do right now is plan the cover. So I really like the tone of this rose here on this fabric, and I think it looks really nice, works really well with the tones of the book. The back's plain, so I want the back to look a whole lot better than it is. So my thinking is to cover the back in the fabric like so, and then, sorry, I keep going out of frame, and then attach some of the sari trim so that it fits round onto that edge. This will be glued down, but this I want to be a pocket where you can add tags and things. And then what I'll do is I'll cover the gap between the fabric and the edge of the book with some like vintage lace, something like this. So it'll kind of have the look of Heather's extended spine books, but we're just not extending the spine here. The book's thick enough in itself. So that's the plan. That's the plan. And I'm going to try and create this journal with as little sewing as possible. But I do want to include lots of fabrics. So that's just the introduction to the project. I'm going to prepare the signatures, and I'll be back very soon. Okay, so here we are. We've got the book prepared, taken the gubbins out, technical term for taking the guts out. And what I've also done is I've taken a template of the inside of the spine, because this will be the base for attaching the signatures to. It'll be covered with nice fabric, and handily you can see that you know, there's already like a paper attachment there, so it's been quite easy to measure it. So that's my card template for attaching the signatures later on. So I'll put that to one side. So I want to get on with doing the cover. I've cut my fabric to size. I really love this rose pattern, and it really does go well with the book. So that's going to go on there, and I'm going to glue that around that side. And then on the front, now I couldn't decide whether to have the pointy bits of this trim up, facing upwards, or whether to have the pointy bits facing down. There's there's advantages and disadvantages to both. If it's a straight edge on the bottom, of course, it means I can put that on a shelf and I don't have to worry about this getting crumpled. But I do kind of like the look of that. But it would mean I wouldn't be able to just slot it onto a shelf. So I think I'm going to go with the pointy sides up. So I'll be gluing that in place, and I'm tempted to take it right around the book, but that's using up a lot of this gorgeous trim, and I don't really have a lot of it left. So what I'll probably do is just take it just right to the edge of the spine there. But I'm not going to cut it just yet. I'm a bit nervous about cutting that. I mean, look how gorgeous it is. It's just absolutely gorgeous with all that Zardosi embroidery. Love it. Right, so we'll put that to one side, because the first thing we've got to do is get this glued on. So I think I'm probably just going to trim off a little bit. I'm sorry if I keep going out of shot. So we'll just rip a bit off there, because we don't need quite that much. Okay, so we want that to go just up to the edge there. That looks good. Okay, so we'll pop a little line of glue down the edge first of all. I'm just going to smear that a bit, because I just want to be able to position this edge quite neatly first. That's it. Yep, that looks good. So now that I've done that edge, I love this glue, by the way. I have to say, it's amazing. It grabs like straight away. Really does. It's excellent stuff. So I'm just going to put a bead around the edge, and I'm just going to put some. Oh, I'm just going to quickly smear that, and then lay the fabric on nice and flat. God, it's absolutely amazing glue. I think it's the best glue I've ever bought. Just put the cap on. I'm just going to move this conglomeration of fabric and stuff because it's getting in my way. Right, so there we are. So that's glued on the back there. And then I just want to turn the edges in. So what I normally do is kind of like pleat the top and kind of like bring it in down the sides, but it can be quite bulky, so what I'll do is snip a little bit. First of all, we'll just whack a bit of glue there, just to tack that down, pull it nice and tight so it's a nice edge. I'm going to do the same along the bottom. Wow, it grabs so quickly, does this glue. It's wonderful. Absolutely love it. Okay, then what I'm going to do is just because it is going to be quite bulky, so I'm just going to lop a bit off the corners. That's it, and then this will sort of pleat inwards like that. Just going to glue down that side. That's the pleat done. You want to get that as tight as possible. This, of course, will all be covered up with an end paper. And then the same at the other side. So pleat that in a bit. Which way? I always confuse myself. Yeah, that's right. I always confuse myself with this bit. I'm not too good with left and right. Oh, look, that's coming undone. Can't have that. I think it's because this backboard is quite old and I think it's just slurping up the glue. So I'll have to keep an eye on that. Look, it's doing it here as well. Just hold that down. I could have done with a couple of pegs just to peg that in place. Just while it sets, because it's just lifting just a little bit. As I say, I think it's because the paper's old and it's dry. So I'm just going to put a couple of clips on the edges. Sorry about all the rattling around. Okay, so we'll just clip those edges down. Just while they're thinking about things, getting to know each other. Right, so that's the back. Happy with that. That's going to look really good. So now on to the glitzy bit. So let's see. So we want that to come right to the edge. And I want this to be a pocket, so I'm only going to be gluing here. Got him out of frame again. So I'm going to be gluing here, here, and here. Plenty of glue on the spine, and then I'm just going to, I might just trail it over just a little bit. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. So let's just measure, just flatten that out a bit. So I'm probably going to trail over just that bit. So we need something just to disguise the edge there. This is probably not going to glue very well over the beaded part. Although I don't know, it might. Then again, it might look better trailing over. Decisions. I should have thought about this before, shouldn't I? Right, so let's make a decision. Right, so we're only going to have the beady bit to the edge, and then I'm going to see if I can glue that over, because I want that to sit properly like that, I think. Or do I? Oh. Right. Decision made. I'm just going to go to the edge. Okay, so we'll take that there. I'm just going to cut to that side. You've always got to be careful cutting these things. It's not good for your scissors. Right, okay. So we'll have... Now, I know I said I didn't want to do measuring, but I like to measure where glue's going. So I'm just going to mark that there. And mark it there. So that I know this is where I'm gluing. So sorry, Mrs. Henry Clark, but you're going to get covered up now. So I'll just put a nice swatch of glue. Am I in frame? Yes, I am, I think. And all along the bottom too. And up the side. Leaving that part, of course, because that's where I want the pocket. I want to position this right on the edge, because I don't really want the edge of the book showing. Oops. And again, I think I'm just going to hold that in place while it dries, because particularly that edge there, I don't want that to move. So that's good, that seems to have adhered nicely. And then I want to glue this around the edge. Do you know what? I might have changed my mind. I might like the look of that. No, not quite. Not quite. We'll just lop a bit more off there. Yep, that's nice. And then plenty of glue. Because I want this to be nice and firm on the spine. Just check, of course, that that opens and closes. That moves all right. That seems good. I like that. And then I think I might go for this paler broderie anglaise trim. I like it because it's just got a little bit of pink staining on it. You see there? Just that little bit of pink stain. I have to think I've had it the wrong way around. Have I had it the wrong way around? Yes, I have had it the wrong way around. Yeah, I like just that bit of staining. Or, nope. What else have I got? So I could also glue some lace. Anyway, let's get on with this. So I do quite like it with the pink staining. So I'm just going to cut it a bit longer than the actual book. And then I'm going to glue this just along here, just to cover up that bit there. A nice bead of glue. Okay, so that's glued down there. And what I'll do is I'll probably wait for this to dry. And then I will glue maybe some lace trim just down that edge, just to finish that off as well. So I'll let that dry. I think that's looking good. That's looking good already. We're getting there. Okay, so I'll leave that to dry and then I'll be with you soon. So here I am back again. The journal covers had a chance to dry, the glue's dried, and I've done a little bit more work on the cover. So what I've done is I've added a piece of velvet ribbon just to disguise the edge of that lace there. So you can see there. The cover's nice and dry, this is nice and firm. So I'm pleased with how that's turned out. So that's the full cover. And then I've actually gone ahead and decorated the inside. So I've used a vintage French check and some vintage French wallpaper. I can't remember. I think I got the wallpaper from Sarah at Crafty Paper Bits, but I'll check and I'll link that. So all I've done is line both end pages, and then when the signatures go in here, there'll be a strip of fabric goes there, and then the signatures will be in the middle here. So there'll be some nice fabric down the edges here. But I'll leave it here for now, and then next time in part 2, you can watch me have a go at putting the signatures into this book, and I'm really hoping that it's going to work out okay, because I've pulled out lots of nice papers for the signatures. But rather than this video going on too long and doing the whole lot at once, I'll do a part 2 video for that. So keep an eye on my Instagram page for more thrilling instalments of Into Stormy Waters. Thank you for watching.